person's weight. Example, our Davy's got in Clem now, you mind?
Well, do you know Clem's also slang for your balls?
What?
Well, not your balls, right? But it is.
Hold on, so
Your Clems?
you've got hanging Clems?
Yeah.
So you've got low Clems?
Well, I haven't.
Swinging Clems?
No? Yeah.
Do your Clems hang low? Do the wobble to fro? Can you tie them in and up? Can you tie them in a bow? Do your Clems hang low? Hiya!
Alright.
I'm Betty Ball.
And I'm Stevie P.
He's a Mackem.
And she's from South Shields.
And this...
Well, South Shields is hard to say, man.
And she's from South Shields. See, it might just be a Mackem thing.
Don't try and make out that
It
you
is, it's
speak posh,
blatantly a
'cause you
Mackem
don't.
thing. Should we do that again?
Yeah, go on then.
He's a Mackem.
And she's from South Shields.
And this is Speak Up Sunderland.
You're probably wondering what on earth we're talking about. Clems.
No change there then.
This Sunday
Sunday the 12th of August.
is National Mackem Day, and we're both proper fascinated by accents.
As you know, this podcast is about the people and the stories of Sunderland. And if you're from outside the UK, you might not know our area, the North East and its famous Geordie accent.
Just rude. People are really proud of their accents, especially Mackems. And if you're local, you clearly know there's a massive difference by the way we speak. Don't laugh at me, you Geordie.
Super duper computer.
Oh, see, that's just wrong. It's super duper computer.
See?
Mackem banter.
Geordie banter, banter bus, banter, banter,
Get off.
banter.
You're not welcome. Go.
Get off my
Leave.
bus. We're going to go around. I think we should go around different parts of Sunderland and we're going to jump on people and ask them to say certain words and see what the difference is. Because everything is technically Sunderland, but you never know. These are all weird in any way in my eyes.
I think you'll see my accent change if I start talking to somebody who's like pure Mackem. I think my accent's going to change as well.
Well, that happens normally though when you go to different places. I mean, you go, say, if you go on holiday and you're there for a week, 9 times out of 10, you come back with a slight different accent. You do adapt to the accent. Like my brother's fiance is from Arizona in America, and when I'm around her, I adapt her accent. I'll be like, hey y'all, has anyone seen my sneakers?
You're
And that's exactly what she's like though. You can't even dial it down.
You think you're half American anyway,
I
though, don't
know.
you?
But I was blessed with being a Geordie.
Blessed being the Geordie.
Blessed. And there's a massive rivalry between people with Mackem accents and Geordie accents.
For the next 2 hours, I'm not your friend.
Steve!
I'll only be your enemy today because it's a Mackem
I'll be
thing.
pelting it down the street, mate.
Pelton?
Pelt? Aye, pelt. I'll be pelting it down the street.
See, I think you're half Mackem.
Then I'll be pagged at the end.
Oh, so now you're saying Mackem's good now? Is this what you're saying?
Aye, pet.
You're going to change your tune today, am I?
Change your tune.
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 See, this is the difference, right, with Mackem and Geordie. Like, Geordies don't open their mouth when they speak.
Shut up!
You don't.
Yes, we do.
If you say tune,
Tune?
there, see, your mouth didn't move. You're like a ventriloquist.
Will you say it?
Tune.
Tune.
Yeah, but did my mouth move?
Oh, I should
You
hope
didn't.
so.
You was just tune.
Car's gonna explode, just FYI.
Geordie's talk like he's been sucking lemon.
And you lot speak very differently, and I'm not from Sunderland, so this is going to be an education, and half of the time I can't understand you, so this is why we're doing the podcast Mackem accent.
I think my car's going to explode.
I genuinely think this car's going to explode. Oh my god, it really is going to explode.
No, it's just like
What's it going off for?
It's just let it go.
Later, we're going to be talking to Swinney, who is the author of the Mackem Dictionary, which we have a copy of right now. And we're going to be taking it out in Sunderland, bang, in the city centre, testing you to tell us if you know how to speak Mackem. From South Shields, he's from Sunderland. I can't understand a word he says. Right?
This is important because most people, we don't all talk like this. So we said, look, why don't we go out in the street, talk to a few people,
And see if they know.
and see if they understand what it is.
this is.
Are you from Sunderland?
Yeah.
Okay,
Where are you
great.
from?
I'm from like Barnes.
Barnes, yeah,
Barnes.
Barnes.
Okay.
Right, whereabouts are you from Sunderland?
Hilton Estate, it's up by the crematorium.
Durham, South Hitton, where we're from. It's right on the border between Durham and Sunderland.
Tyne away a border.
Aye, Tyne away a border, we literally are.
Are you from Sunderland?
Yes.
Okay. Right?
Yes. I'm not a Mackem.
Where are you from?
Where are you
I'm a
from?
Geordie.
See, she's like me. We're going to fire some Mackem words at you and see
Right.
if you know what they are. Because I haven't got a clue.
But I haven't got a clue.
So I bet you're exactly the same as me. What's your
Literally.
name, by the way?
Jess.
Jess, I'm Betty. This is Stevie.
Aye, are you alright?
Right, you ready? We're going to
I'm
fire
ready.
away. Don't look.
I'm not
Right,
looking.
this is the word, but I'm going to say it how it's said in Sunderland.
Right.
Look. Trust us.
Pelt.
What?
Pelt.
Like a coat.
Coat? How do you get a coat from pelt?
Like a pelt.
I've never heard that before. Have you heard of that?
Come on, yes, but come on. Tell her what it is. Pelt.
Belt.
Pelt.
Oh, like when you throw something, like you pelt it.
Off them.
Pelt is to run very fast.
See, I
Or
was
to
going to
rain
say...
very hard.
I was going to say pelt, as in either a coat or you throw something really hard.
Or it's pelting down.
You pelt someone with something.
Pelting down
See,
the rain.
pelt, when I was young, pelt is what you, if you throw something.
You pelt someone with it.
Oh, you do, eh?
No, you pelt someone. I
Like you
can't
get pelted with a football.
Elish?
Hellish, oh,
Elish, what's that
See?
mean?
Terrible awful.
Yeah. Like, because it's hellish.
Yeah.
Well, we have no H's in Mackem's, do we?
This is straight out of the Mackem Dictionary. Do you know the word Gansey?
Yes.
I know it.
Coat.
Do you know that?
I thought it was something to wear, like a jacket or something.
Skin cheese.
What?
Skin cheese.
Yep.
I've never heard of that. Like,
Skin cheese.
Yep. I'll put it in an example.
Like cheese.
No, it doesn't count. It was skin cheese. You know when you cross your fingers?
Can you do that?
Oh yeah.
I've got
That's
skin
skin
cheese.
cheese.
oh,
Yeah, I've never heard that.
That's in the Mackem Dictionary. You call yourselves Mackems?
No,
Good.
I actually haven't
No.
heard that one.
This one grinds my gears massively. Snore.
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 I've never heard that.
We had loads of it for 4 months. over.
Snore. Oh, snore.
Snort.
Snore?
Aye. Aye,
Why?
Would you say
yeah.
snort or snort?
No, snore. I'd say
Snore.
snore.
I think there's a Mackem accent and I think there's a Townie accent.
Yeah, I
Do you
would
think there
say
is?
snore.
I've said snort before, like.
Have you?
Years and years and years since I've heard that word, snore.
Snort.
I can't ever remember using that word myself, but I knew what it was.
Do you know that's why? It's because we're posh. We're posh Mackems.
Oh, are we push?
Aye.
Oh, yes.
We say snort, not snort.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You're working with somebody who's not from the area and they say, are you a Geordie or a Mackem? What do you say?
Mackem, definitely. Definitely Mackem.
Okay, let's test and see if you are a fully blown Mackem. Now I'm a Geordie. I'd say cookie. What would you say?
Kooky.
Say what?
Kooky.
Kookie.
Aye,
What
kooky.
about book?
Book.
It's a ew sound, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Computer gets them all, try computer one.
Say, oh God, say super duper computer.
Super duper computer.
Hello, Paul speaking.
Hi Paul, this is Betty Bull and Stevie B from Speak Up Sunderland.
I'm Paul Swinney. I'm the author of the Mackem Dictionary, which explores the wonderful words of Wearside, looking at the very unique elements of the dialect of Sunderland and the surrounding Wearside area, and having a bit of fun with it at the same time.
So Paul told us all about the idea of how the Mackem Dictionary came about.
I started to make word clouds and things like that, and then started doing word of the day on Twitter and Facebook, and they went down really, really well. And so the idea of actually doing a dictionary off the back of that just seemed quite a natural choice, given that it had been such a success. So then the Mackem Dictionary was born.
You'd not picked up the dictionary before, had you?
I didn't even know it existed.
And I actually said that's absolutely shocking. I did. And not just because you're on the phone now, Paul.
Shame on you, Betty.
Oh, behave yourself. It's not you wait. You wait.
So we decided to go out and we've had some fantastic responses this afternoon, haven't we?
Even Mackems didn't know half your words.
No,
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Honest to God. I mean, Chabble. Where on earth did Chabble come from?
Chapel, see that, and that's because it's more of a north of the water. So I think it's something, if you're from Roker, Seaburn, Town and Farm, etc., you're more likely to come across it.
Chapel? See? Chapel?
What is trouble?
Well, they used to say chapel.
Chapel?
A what?
That's it. I didn't think you'd get this one. Chapel?
I've
Exactly.
got no idea. What's that?
What do you eat on when you're at home?
A plate.
Do you know what a Chabble is?
Aye,
What's a Chabble?
table.
See?
Yeah, you see? You didn't think that was
I
right,
haven't
did
got a clue what that was.
Why not just call it a table?
Exactly. High five to that.
I don't understand.
High five to that. Chabble.
Table.
How the fuck did you
guys
get it
just
straight
know
away?
this?
Where exactly it came from, got no idea. As with a lot of the words from the Mackem dialect, they just emerged through time, and it's quite difficult to trace. But Chapel is an interesting one, and not necessarily actually one that I would have grown up saying, sort of grown up in silks with, but certainly friends from north of the water, Chapel comes to them much more easily. So I think there's even something very interesting that, you know, either sides of the weir, you do get very, very subtle differences. Obviously not as big as the difference between, say, Sunderland and South Shields, but even on that much more local geography, you do even get some things where you may get some differences of opinion in terms of where people grew up.
Well, you know what clays are.
Clothes.
Hey!
Yeah, see?
So are these words used a lot in Hendon?
Well, they were, weren't they?
Why isn't it just clothes in the dictionary?
I've got me clears to
The
wear.
hat
Got no
you
clothes. Put your clothes on.
See?
Clays.
No.
Clothes.
Clays.
Clothes.
Clays.
Clays.
Clays
French?
is also a garden centre. Also a garden centre.
I want to sack him.
You think you're funny, don't you? I want another presenter.
I'm born and bred Sunderland. I've been here nearly 50 years. And I think there's a Mackem accent. I think there's a Townie accent.
Indeed.
And a bit of pit talk comes in as well.
Yeah, and I think it's really fascinating actually how you have the different dialects sort of merge. You know, it's not a case of, you know, you draw Sunderland on a map and, you know, people speak sort of one way, one side of this artificial line, and speak a different way the other side. And there's definitely, I think, some influence sort of between the two, perhaps from what I would call sort of Sunderland's hinterland into County Durham, sort of mixed with obviously what was sort of called towny type. But things like Mara, for example, are meant to have come from the pits.
Mara.
Oh, friend,
Mara,
mate.
Your mate, oh, that's all right.
It's really fascinating, actually, when you look at the geographies that these things operate over. They can be very, very small, and you get some words which are universal, say, across the wider northeast. And then you'll get variations, I think, you know, between sort of Sunderland and the wider area, or perhaps even sort of one side of the way to the other side of the way. It's really fascinating to look into, and once you get into it, actually, there's so much variation.
The weirdest thing is, though, there's only about 10 minutes between us, if that, and we're very, very, very opposite.
Between what?
If you go to
Aye,
Southampton,
between we. Aye.
if you go to Southampton and Horton, what's about 3 or 4 miles away, there's completely different accent there.
If you go to an English class at school, do they say what? What does what?
Well,
us.
school is school, because it's an oo sound, not squill,
Us
which
is
is in Mackem.
us is us, not what.
No, he's making a good
What?
point. There's no word in any dictionary that says what.
Apart from the Mackem Dictionary.
If
The
you
word's
went
not
into
in.
an English class and your English teacher said, if you asked you to say us, and you went what, you'd get kicked out.
Yeah.
It's probably why I didn't have a chair for 3 years.
I always get wrong for saying Bolton instead of Bolton. I'll say Bolton.
Are you from Newcastle? Though?
Yeah, I'm from Newcastle.
Right, okay. How important do you think it is? You know, because there's a big thing that obviously Mackem and Geordies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is generally friendly, or it's football related or whatever.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is that we've got like Geordie accents and Mackem accents?
I don't think it's important at all. I hate my accent and I hate yours even more.
I love it!
And then another one, when I used to work away, it didn't matter what I said to them, as soon as I opened my mouth, it'd say Geordie.
No.
And how did you feel about that?
Yeah.
See what you want? It's
I think,
anyway.
hey, exactly how you'd feel if someone said Mackem.
Smack 'em?
You'd be like, no.
You do though.
I'm not a Geordie, and then they'd be like, oh, you all say that, but you are Geordies. It's like, no, we're not.
This is the 10-minute divide.
Even though there's 10 minutes between what?
Exactly.
People from outlying districts like Hetton, Horton have an entirely different accent
Pit talk, isn't it?
and words from us. The things they use, and they're from Hetton, Horton, Seam. They use words for things that we would a different
Yeah.
word for
Is
it.
is that pit talk?
Pit talk. That's it.
That's what it is, isn't it?
Pit talk.
The accent also mixes in with the attitude that we've got. Everyone
Aye.
says we're very friendly, whether you go to Newcastle or Blythe or whatever, you go to Sunderland or whatever, Pennywell. You go to some areas where it'll not be friendly, but generally it is. And I think it's the people that's made the accent a friendly accent.
Aye. It's definitely something that people associate with friendliness and happiness, and aye, it's definitely something like that, but I think it's awful. I think the way you say book and cook,
When you're
awful.
when you're at a call centre, then
I have to speak professionally.
right then.
Like in my head, when I speak on the phone, my Geordie accent drops because I think I'm quite broad normally. So if I was just talking to you, I'd be like, Ari, are you alright? Like, how are you doing? And then on the phone I have to be like, good afternoon, how are you doing? How can I help? And it's like, but I don't think you can hear the Geordie in that, but
You've
people
totally
pick it up.
lost that.
Yeah, but people still pick it up, and I'm like, oh, how?
You have to have a phone voice, and talking to a lot of people, you have to alter your accent, otherwise they can't understand a word you say.
Yeah. At some point, I was quite ashamed of my accent and thinking.
I think they're both awful. Like when because I work in a call centre, and people are like, yeah, I love the Geordie accent, and I'm like, why? I went to uni here, that's why I'm here. And now that I've got a job, I'm staying in Sunderland because I like it so much. So you've done something well.
You hate the accent, but you love it.
I love Sunderland. I think after living in Newcastle for so long, it's a much bigger city. In the sense that more people go there, it's a more popular tourist destination. Newcastle's way too expensive. It's not got a very nice vibe sometimes.
Yeah.
Like there's a big difference between the upper class and lower class and things like that. Whereas in Sunderland, everyone just wants a pint. Everyone's just
And
happy
as
with a
cheap as
pint and a
possible.
dance, aye.
So we've had author Paul Swinney talk about his book.
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 You just hitting me. It's book.
Book.
Well, how do you say it?
Book.
Book. boo, ooh.
Book.
You don't open your mouth when you talk, man.
Book.
So,
Book.
Shush. I'm talking. The author Paul Swinney,
Book.
he's book, the Mackem Dictionary, but we thought, let's put him to the test like we did with our locals and see if he's up on the lingo.
We have a game for you, Paul. We are going to go
Sounds good.
straight into your Mackem Dictionary and you've got to tell us what these words mean, alright? So I'm randomly going to
No
go through the
pressure.
book. I'm going to flick one and the first one is meat.
Me. That would be a description of a particularly a teenage mutant mating ritual where one teenager will eat the face of the other teenager.
Fab.
Well,
Next
commonly
one.
known as kissing.
Next one, Ganny.
Oh, everyone's got a Ganny. You know, Ganny Sundays dinners are always what you want to be looking for, aren't they? So that would be your grandmother.
Kerry.
Curry rice and chips has clearly got to be one of the best dishes that's ever been created.
No.
But of course, if you go and ask for curry elsewhere in the country, they'll not know what you're talking about.
Don't
But
even
sounds like you've got a difference of
stop.
opinion.
Kerry.
What?
Does kerry mean?
Curry?
Kerry.
Not a clue.
I'll give you a clue. It's something you eat. Curry.
Curry?
Curry.
But a Mackem says what?
Curry.
Kerry. You say it's
Yeah, but
kerry. Kerry's a name.
Would you say
man.
curry or curry?
Curry. See? They're like us.
Yeah,
Curry.
but you saying curry and you saying curry. Curry?
Curry.
Champion.
Yeah,
See?
Right, okay.
Good.
Curry.
Hey, see,
Now,
she
would you
says it
say
properly.
curry or curry?
Curry?
See?
It's
See?
it's
She's
half
like
though,
me.
isn't it?
She's like me. Kerry is a name. A lady's name.
Paul,
It is
defend yourself
actually
here because
curry.
this is
It's
two Mackems.
curry.
This is two Mackems versus one Geordie, mate. So let's just
Bring
give her
it.
what she deserves.
Bring it. It's curry.
Well, do you know what? If ladies want to be called after a fantastic dish that's served with rice and chips, you know that probably just makes them all the more desirable to me.
See,
Oh my
I've
God.
always said curry, rice, and chips is just all one word, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not allowed to take a breath between them. They've
No,
all
it's
got to
just
merge
curry, rice,
together.
and chips, isn't it?
What about cookbook?
Do you know what she hates
one of my
this?
favourites.
Cookbook?
A cookbook.
Don't this sound weird?
Yeah, you
though?
sound right. It's like when they say book.
Doesn't it mean you want to hoy?
Oh, I see that. You found a kindred spirit now, haven't you?
The cookbook is an interesting one as well because it's something I never ever really picked up on before. And I remember being in Cambridge actually and sort of saying it, and someone had just been in fits of giggles. I was like, "What's so funny about it?" And it was like, "It's a cookbook. It's got recipes in it." But it's one of those classic, I think, sort of Sunderland words in that it's clearly just a deviation on the standard cookbook, as I guess they might say in Milton Keynes or wherever. But it very much sort of stresses the Mackem accent where the double O becomes an oo sound, which is very different, I think, even to other parts of the northeast, and it really sort of shows off the difference as one of the real standout differences you get from the Mackem accent.
So can you spell it for us then? Because it sounds different. So can you spell it?
Can you, Paul? Can you sense a bit of bitterness? Isn't it terrible?
It just sounds like it's good old northeast rivalry.
Spell it. Go on.
So it's CEWK. BEWK. So it's a replacement of the double O for an EW to give you that oo sound rather than O sound, as you might get sort of in from Tyneside or some other O sound that you might get perhaps in Queen's English.
And then the big one. Couldn't help it. It had to happen. I mean, it really had to happen. I couldn't understand why it's in those pages. And the one I couldn't wait to ask him about.
Here we go.
Why on earth have you got YI in the Mackem Dictionary? It is a Geordie saying. Why have you done it? Is YI Mackem or Geordie?
Why I man?
YI, man.
Why
Is it Mackem or Geordie?
Geordie.
See?
I don't know.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's Geordie.
Because it's in the Mackem Dictionary. Does YI belong to Geordie or Mackem?
Geordie, I think.
I don't
I'm
know.
saying Harry Enfield when he has Julio Geordie on.
We all see it though.
Because YI is actually in the Mackem Dictionary. But I could stand my ground and stamp my feet and say it's Geordie.
It's definitely Geordie. I'm not seeing Julio Geordie on Harry Enfield and Chums when he does it. He always says YI there. It'll definitely be more known as that.
I think you hear it everywhere though. If you go anywhere around Newcastle, you'll hear it. Anywhere around Sunderland.
Anywhere in the north.
I mean, like some people say it, but I feel like up there it's more like.
Like why I man?
Yeah, like it's like in the Geordie.
Like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think it's more Geordie.
Yeah.
You think it's more Geordie?
Yeah.
But it is in the Mackem Dictionary.
No, it is said.
We still see it, but like.
You'd be like, why I?
Oh, we are.
Why I man away? Come on, like you know.
You'd be like, why I?
Unreal. Seeing that is the difference between a Mackem and a Geordie. You stole what famous saying. Why I?
We're famous saying.
Everyone in Sunderland has said that is a Geordie accent. That is not a Mackem accent. And why is it in our Mackem Dictionary?
Yeah. Everywhere in Sunderland and everywhere in Newcastle, you'll hear the word "why," so it doesn't belong either way. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, it does.
Doesn't?
Yes, it does. It
You
belongs
just
to
went,
us.
oh, see, this is how bad Geordies are. You're just so bitter.
How
He's so bitter.
You said just copycats.
Why is an interesting one because actually it all depends on how you say it in terms of what you mean. So
Oh, yes, very much
if
so.
it's like why I, you'd be
Oh,
like,
we
well,
aye,
of
man.
course. But if it's like why I, you'd be dismissing somebody. So actually, it's sort of one means of course, and the other one means whatever, and it's all about the intonation of your voice in terms of how you say it. It's all these subtleties that Sally Southerner from Newbury or Bristol or wherever. It's a complete minefield for them. And perhaps even from people from South Shields by the sounds of things as well. So it's a good example of one of those words that isn't exclusive to Sunderland, but is very much part of the Mackem dialect. Now, as much as I hate to say it, there are actually some things we share with our Geordie cousins, for as alien as they may seem to us, and YI is definitely one of them. Now, of course, it is in the national eye is associated with the Geordie accent, but actually isn't exclusive to it. So. It's something that if you walk up and down the High Street West or go on the bridges, I'm sure you'd hear about 15 times if you were to walk through and just listen to different conversations. So I'm afraid it's very much a Sunderland word as much as the Newcastle one.
Pat had one for us, didn't she?
Aye, she did.
How do you say like scone or scone?
Scone.
Scone.
doesn't
My
exist in
granddaughter
mine.
says scone.
It's a scone?
It's a scone.
Well, if something's gone, you wouldn't say it's gone, would you?
No.
Yeah,
Last one. Ket.
Sweets.
Like loads of like.
Yeah, like
Loads
sweets.
of kits. You have loads of kits after your Sunday dinner.
Now you go to the cinemas and you're like, oh, should
let's
get
get some ket.
Yeah.
See, but in where I'm from, that's drugs.
What,
Ket?
Ketamine.
Ket? That's drugs. You lot are filthy.
And you finish on drugs, excellent. Yeah.
Why aye, man? Right,
Right, thanks very much. Cheers.
And finally, before we let our new Bezzy mate Paul Swinney go, we had one last thing for him.
This book's been out quite a while now then. What kind of success have you had with this and have you been surprised?
It's been fantastic, so thrilled in terms of how well it's done. I mean, the idea of it was obviously to celebrate the words that we assign, celebrate our dialect, but it was also to give something back too. So the first edition of the book, funds were raised for the Foundation of Light, which is the football club's official charity, very much focused on education, and that was very deliberate in its choice. If people aren't being given the skills that they need today for when they're entering the world of work tomorrow, that's got really big implications, and so we want to have this educational focus. And the second edition of the dictionary, money was to go to Gen 2, to the Housing Association, again to support their educational skills programs that they run with their residents. It became the best ever selling book in Waterstone, Sunderland. So eat your heart out, J.K. Rowling. We're very, very pleased with that. Certainly the first Christmas it launched, it went like hotcakes and was sold out on the first edition very, very quickly. Because of that, we then did a second edition with some added extras and a few photographs and things like that in it too. It's been great, and I think the pickup we've had from people who've read it, they say it's dead funny, it's very deliberately tongue-in-cheek. They love it, they get a good giggle from it. You certainly get a lot of comments on, I think, when you go around the country, a lot of people say, oh, I love your accent and things. On a day-to-day basis, you don't really sort of reflect on it because it's just normal. And it's only when I think you have it pitched then against other accents that you think, actually, you know what, this is different and it is something to be celebrated and it is something we should be very proud about. And it's great to do the Mackem Dictionary and do that in a humorous way, poke a bit of fun about it ourselves, but also, catalogue the words that we use so it's then written down for all posterities.
Sayings. Can you say super duper computer?
Super duper computer.
Burns my ears. Could you imagine a Mackem on countdown?
It's more the Geordie way of saying it just sounds so weird. Super duper computer.
Exactly.
Like, what are you saying to me?
But if we went on countdown, we could know our vowels. You guys wouldn't. It'd be ear, ew, ew, ew.
If you want to conform to some weird sort of Queen's English thing, and toe the line and then knock yourselves out, we speak in our own special way.
Exactly.
And as long as we understand each other, that's all that matters.
Well, I'm on your side 100%, mate.
If a Mackem went on countdown and it wanted all the vowels,
so
it'd be ew.
what's wrong with how we say vowels?
Can I have a consonant?
Try and emphasise it.
Can I have a consonant?
B.
Can I have a vowel?
A vowel.
Aye.
Ear.
What?
Ear.
What?
Ear.
Can I have a vowel?
Ear. E. Oh. Yes, I'll give you 3 there in one sentence.
Can I have a vowel? Ew.
Aye.
Ew.
See, you're getting to a point that doesn't
Ew.
exist. You see,
Ew.
you're just a nasty Geordie person.
Can I have a consonant? Yeah.
I'll give you a consonant in a
D.
minute.
Yeah, man. That's the end of this week's episode of Speak Up Sunderland.
Don't know about you, but I'm knackered.
I'm absolutely paggered, like.
Anyway, happy Mackem Day.
Happy Mum Day.
No, Mackem Day.
Happy Mum Day. Thanks to everyone who we spoke to this week. Roll call!
Joan and George.
Daisy and Callum.
Thanks to Pat and Margaret.
Thanks to me new Bezzy Jess from Geordie Land. Potter Lotion Show.
And of course, thanks to the writer of the Mackem Dictionary himself, Paul Swinney.
And if you enjoyed what you heard, make sure you leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Well, let us do that now.
What now?
Yes, aye, now. Get your phone out, scroll down a bit, and where it says leave a rating, 5 stars, please.
Betty man, we can't.
Shh. Alright, that's good.
Thanks as ever to Timecrawler82 for letting us use his music.
And war producer Jay, who smells.
Rude. Anyway, next week, we're off to the National Glass Centre.
National Glass Centre. Right here in our little old Sunderland.
See you next week.
Next week.
Tra.
Bye.
Bye.
Loser.
See ya.
Geordie's above.
Get lost.
You know it.
Out.
We don't normally do this, but we're going to leave you a super duper blooper.
It's blooper.
Super duper blooper.
That's not super duper blooper. It's
What is it
super
then?
duper blooper.
Super duper blooper.
Anyway, here it is.
And there's a real rivalry between people. There's a real rivalry between people with Mackem and Geordie.
There's a real
No,
rivalry.
man! There's a real rivalry between people with Mackem and Geordie accents. Oh, for f***'s sake, what's the matter with this man?
It's the 2 R's.
Real
real
rivalry?
That's the accent.
What's it supposed to be?
This real rivalry?
Real
There's
rivalry?
a lot of riz in it.
Should we change the real?
No, because that's a Mackem, that's a Geordie accent.
Why don't you say big?
And there's a real rivalry between people with Mackem and Geordie accent.
Oh, however, I've got a son who's a man, he's forgotten my name.
I can't help it, I can't say
Say
real
big.
rivalry.
Say a big rivalry.
Oh, right, can I just say it the way I'd say it?
Yeah.
Right. There's a massive rivalry.
Oh,
There's
God.
a massive rivalry between Mackem's and Geordie accent.
Well, that's going to work, isn't it?
Oh. I'm so sorry, I'm so tired. Right, ready, 1, 2, 3. And there's a massive rivalry between the Mackem. You guys!
I didn't say this, yeah, right? You kind of say
There's a
rivalry and I
massive-
can't say some shit. I've just said it.
There's a massive rivalry between people with Mackem and Geordie accent. That was right, you daft bitch!
I know, but it was funny.
Right, there's a massive rivalry between people with...
Oh, God.
There's a rivalry between Mackem's and Geordie's, right? They are. It's...
3, 2.
Oh, she's gone.
Oh, right, okay. Right. Oh, wait. Right. Right, before Jay... Right, okay, Jay, do this. What?
And there's a massive rivalry.
What? Rivalry? Rivalry?
No!
I want to be haunted. I want to be dreaming. And
This needs to go on.
Rivalry.
This episode needs to be. This needs to have.
It goes in a blooper.
This needs to have a blooper at the end because it's that brilliant.
We should actually. We should just
This should
add it
just
on.
have like as a little present for you all. We've actually got our first ever blooper that contains all 3 of us.
Just to prove it takes us 6 hours to record it.
Just to say the word rivalry.